I was home from college and needed a summer job. I applied to a local New York-style delicatessen. In retrospect, I can say that nothing in my 19 years of life prepared me for what I would encounter. At 3:45 p.m. the next day, I reported to work. They told me the dinner rush began at 4 o'clock. Immediately, I was overcome by an intoxicating, familiar smell, the scent of my people. Kosher half-dill pickles. My mouth started to water, but there was no time to grab one. My first customers had arrived. I began to approach their table when one of the more seasoned waitresses stopped me. She told me to give the couple a chance to settle in to their surroundings. Why? I asked. Because, she said, 95% of the time they were going to be moving to a more desirable table, which may or may not be part of your station. That summer, I learned that the average couple at Corky's moves 3 times before finding a table they can really commit to. They could be seated they can be seated too close to the kitchen, the front door, or the bathroom. Maybe they were seated at a table and not a booth. Or maybe the sun was shining into the restaurant at such a precise angle as to cause blindness. I waited 5 minutes, allowing them to move 2 times. Once to a table out of my station, and then back to a booth that was in my station. They looked nice, friendly, harmless, like my grandparents. I walked over with a big smile and 2 glasses of water, but before I had a chance to open my mouth, I heard, "Honey, do you think we could have some water without ice? There's a draft in here and this ice is gonna kill me." "Sure," I said, but she continued. "I'll take a knish and a hot pastrami on rye, but the pastrami has to be lean. Is it lean? It can't be fatty. It needs to be lean and thin. Not thick, but sliced thin. But not too thin. It can't lose its shape or fall apart inside the sandwich. But thin enough so if I shined a flashlight on it, the light would be visible from the other side." You know what I'm talking about. "Yes," I said, but I didn't mean it. I didn't want to admit my ignorance or let on that I never actually held up a flashlight to a piece of pastrami. I didn't really understand the science behind light particles and lunch meat. "Oh, and I want seedless rye on account of my diverticulitis." "Sorry," I said. "Our rye bread has seeds." "Why don't you carry seedless rye? They have seedless rye at Wolfie's. Why don't you have seedless rye? Don't you know the seeds could kill me?" I didn't want a death on my conscience that summer. Not from a pastrami and rye sandwich. "Anything to drink?" I asked. I'll take a diet soda and Javi will have a brewed Sanka. Oh, and don't forget to bring the rolls. The rolls. The basket of rolls proudly served on every table at delis. I used to be embarrassed at the end of a meal when my grandmother shoved a few in her purse. She'd say, "Andrea, they're just going to throw them away anyway." "No, they're not, Grandma." Servers were instructed to take back any remaining rolls and throw them into a big roll receptacle of sorts. A place where freshly baked rolls freely intermingled with recycled rolls. When a party arrived, we were instructed to take a plastic basket, line it with a napkin for cleanliness, of course, and scoop up a bunch of rolls from the receptacle. You never knew if the rolls on your table were yours alone, or if they dined on multiple tables before you. That dark roll with the little pieces of onion that you couldn't wait to sink your teeth into, it could have been fondled earlier that afternoon by Murray Saperstein. The guy with the chronic psoriasis. It was like Russian roulette. You never knew your fate. "Oh, I won't forget the rolls," I said. Halfway through the meal, I see a flabby arm waving me over. "Are you sure the soda is diet? It tastes like regular. I can't have sugar on account of my diabetes. Sugar could kill me." "You don't want to kill me, do you?" At this point, I really wasn't sure how to respond. "Get me a little bit of regular soda so I can compare the two." But I thought you couldn't have regular soda because I didn't even bother to finish. I brought her a glass of regular soda. She took a sip of the diet soda and then a sip of the regular soda. Then she did it again. She repeated this taste test 3 more times, like she was conducting her very own Pepsi challenge. And then she said, "I can't take any chances with the soda, just take it off my bill." By this time, she had finished the entire glass of diet soda and the glass of regular soda. That's when it occurred to me. She did remind me of my grandmother, which meant that the neurotic propensity to complain could be in my DNA too. "Can you get me a coffee instead?" I couldn't take it anymore. I unleashed my closet Kvetch. "Oy, there's Mia with the back and the forth and the soda and the rolls and the pastrami and the flashlight. I'm schwitzing, I'm on my feet all day, I'm getting varicose veins, I'm 19 years old." "What, are you trying to kill me?" "Listen, doll, I'll make sure the coffee's hot. Not hot enough to burn your tongue, but not so warm that it tastes like pish." by the end of the meal, I had a decent tip in my pocket, her grandmother's recipe for matzo ball soup, and her grandson's phone number. I never did call him that summer. Between his DNA and mine, I couldn't risk it.